Hey Techno Freaks, Techno Odin here, continuing the character breakdowns for Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. This time we seed with Ultimecia. I'm so gonna get flagged for that.
None can stem the tides of time.
A marksman, Ultimecia is the Empress of Lockdown, keeping her foes in one place as she gains strength to pose a serious threat. This is done through both her unique mechanic Maleficum and her ability to charge up or extend some BP attacks by holding down the BP button called Spell Channeling. As just stated, holding down the BP button will either charge up or extend Ultimecia's BP attacks, thus giving her the longest attack strings in the game. Onto Maleficum, which is basically Garland's Soul of Chaos. After a set number of landed attacks, Ultimecia will gain a level of Maleficum, increasing her attack potency and what felt like a range buff as well, for 25 seconds. While in level 1, if she lands enough attacks, she will gain level 2, restarting the timer and further increasing her potency and range. If level 2 runs out, it reverts to level 1, exactly like Garland. Her BP attacks are as followed. Her neutral ground, Relentless Blades, which does exactly what it says on the tin, has Ultimecia send out blade-like projectiles relentlessly straight in front of her. Now you can move while casting, and the longer you hold the BP button down, the longer you keep firing. Range isn't bad, but to get the full effect of the move, you need to keep the opponent within that line between zone 3 and 4. This is one of your main lockdown tools, as it lasts for a long time, meaning teammates can pull off beautiful team attacks with you, but be warned, what keeps them in place will also leave you wide open for attacks. It's also really narrow and the priority is kind of odd, with it starting with a medium priority, then low, and then ending with a high, and then with that chain looping the longer you extend the attack, so it's not the best to deal with marksmen. Her forward ground, Arcing Axes, has Ultimecia send out up to 3 axes in a random arc towards the opponent. The max distance is within the 4th zone on the radar, with Maleficum level 2 extending it to near the outer zone. The arc makes this terrible for close quarters combat, as the axes can go around the opponent, but is one of her best neutral game tools. The first 2 axes are medium, with the final axe being high in priority, making it better at trading projectiles but still not the best. Her backwards ground final sentence is pretty much Kefka's Flip Flop Meteor, where you charge the attack up. At normal level, the attack will start at zone 3 and travel the distance equivalent to zone 4. At full charge, it starts at zone 4 and moves to the outer zone. This move is high priority, so is one of the moves you trade attacks with if you find yourself against another marksman, but otherwise it's used to keep up the pressure and Lockstone. Her neutral is Arrows of Rapture, and it's pretty much the version of Relentless Blades and has the same properties and uses. Her forward Spear of Temperance, has Ultimecia send out a magic spear into the enemy, causing great damage. Holding the BP button down charges the attack, increasing the distance the attack will fly out. At starting level, the attack lands in the centre of the 2nd zone, with the full charge version in the centre of the 3rd zone. Now this is a great get off me tool, but if anything it's your main core buster, as it takes only 3 strikes of its attack to destroy the core solo. Her backer, Capering Axes, has Ultimecia conjure up 4 axes that will pause for the cause before hunting down the opponent. Nothing much to say for this move, as the hovering axes can sort of act like a keep away tool, but they are mainly long distance barrage similar to Arcing Axes, which they share the same distance properties and more or less uses. The ground dash attack, Unerring Pikes, has Ultimecia summon up Pikes of Darkness, acting similar to the Cloud of Darkness's backwards ground. It has high priority, so is your other go-to move to trade with marksmen. Her dash, Protean Swords, is a mix of Capering Axes and Relentless Blades. where Ultimecia summons 5 of her magic swords in front of her, which will hang there for about 2 to 3 seconds before chasing the opponent. The max range is the borderline for Zone 3 and 4, which will extend to the borderline to the outer zone when in Maleficum level 2. This move is great for self-setup, as you can throw them out, maneuver to a closer range for your other attacks, comboing into your own attack, or punishing the opponent blocking the swords with a HP attack. Speaking of which, segue. For HP attacks we start with Great Attractor, which is similar to Forsaken, but unlike Forsaken, it's unchargeable, and it stops near the end, creating a vacuum effect around it. The move stops travelling when it reaches Zone 3, and draws in anyone close to the borderline between Zones 3 and 4. Her second HP attack is Shockwave Pulsar, which has Ultimecia create a delayed explosion around her similar to that of Almajestic Spirit Surge, but on a whole other level. Her third HP attack is Hell's Judgment, a search attack similar to that of Cecil's Holy Flame. In its max range is Zone 3, nothing more to say. Her fourth HP attack is Apocalypse, and it's another wave move. How many times are we going to reskin Shining Wave? It's absolutely pathetic. The max distance is borderline between Zones 3 and 4, so now we have established that Ultimecia's average range is around Zone 3. So as long as the opponent is in that range, you are golden. As for which one is better, it's hard to say. Once again, they are all decent. I would say out of all, Great Attractor is the weakest because the other moves either do the same thing but better. Shockwave Pulsar is essentially a CQC move, as it has an annoying trait of after she calls it out, a move will come out regardless of if you interrupt her or not, making it a great tool to condition melee fighters to not rush in for that reckless attack, otherwise they will start feeding you in caps. Hell's Judgment is like Holy Flame and most search attacks, very reliable and quick to land, but hands down Apocalypse wins it for me, as it hits the furthest and is quite a quick wave attack, making it a real threat. Her unique EX skill is Maelstrom, and unlike X-Death's attack, it's not spammable. Sorry Aaron, no, this move acts like a ranged version of Garland's Deranged Soul, keeping the opponent in one place while damaging them before sending them flying and upping her level of Maleficum. Also, her Maleficum improves the size and lasting time of the attack. So if she was in Maleficum level 2, this move lasts long enough to combo into your own HP attack if you're fast enough. For general skills, this one's going to be pretty short, as she's pretty much what we've already covered, a standard marksman, so the metas teleport, vacuum, bravery conduit, and perfect defense if needed. Not much to say. As for team comp, you want someone who you can combo with, so the Empress of Lockdown teams up so well with the ground god Firion. Outside of that, pick someone who can finish things off. I personally like Locke due to his sneak attack playstyle, meaning he will be around and aware of your lockdown-ness. I'm telling you, that's not a word, Jay! But the main thing as we go into my final thoughts is communication, or lack thereof, in this game. Now, as we know, this is a team-based game, not too far off Overwatch, League of Legends, and Heroes of the Storm, meaning communication is key. And as an Ultimecia, you will need your mic as you call out what you are doing. It's not hard to say locking 4 or 4 locked down, so someone can come in and get the HP attack off. But on the flip side, this game is played around the world, and language barriers exist. So now I go in from a rant about netcode, which Ultimecia doesn't do well with lag, get it fixed, to a rant about the chat system. Why, Square? Why would you level lock such a must-needed feature? You see, I'm cool with unlocking voice lines for characters if they don't impact the game, like Zidane's
Soft.
That has no impact, no bearing. But to lock away things like help me, group up, and other key lines that are needed to communicate, that's terrible. Now imagine if Overwatch locked away the need healing chat line. Two things would happen. One, Genjis would have nothing to spam at their mercies. But more seriously, those without mics or the confidence to talk to randoms can't let the healer know they are in trouble. And it's the same with this game. I always say, if you are going to play online and you're just starting out, use the core battle level grind trick to get your characters to level 10 as soon as possible, because a lot of key communication is locked away. And don't forget to customize the chat messages for each character you're going to play, either by manually going into it and choosing the lines yourself, or by pressing the square button to get the recommended lines filled in and use them, as too many people don't.
I refuse.
Okay guys, that's it for today's breakdown. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell thingy, and share this video. Also, if you have any tips and tricks you found yourself, please share them in the comments section below. And finally, tune in next time where no cloud, no squall shall hinder us with Zidane. But until that day, this has been Techno Odin. Take care!